So I mentioned we have 3 essential stocks that we want to hit on. We just spent some time on ASML. Let's go through these other 2 real quick to give listeners a couple more to put on their watch list, and then we'll wrap it up after that.
Yeah, and I kind of wanted to teach a lesson with each of these. So we'll talk about the stock, but there's also kind of a broader trend in AI for each. So the next one I wanted to talk about was Coherent. This is not a household name. This one is $12 billion today. You can't even sniff the S&P 500 being a $12 billion stock. So it's pretty small. And the larger trend here is NVIDIA. What they did was they took computing from central processors, which was Intel driven, to GPUs, which obviously that is NVIDIA's baby. And the next step that we're looking at, the next phase that we're going towards, is clusters of GPUs. So a year or 2 ago, I think the biggest cluster of GPUs in the world was 4,000 of them networked together. Elon Musk company just did 100,000 networked together. And we're reading plans now to network 1 million GPUs together. So these huge data centers that are just built for AI is the single biggest trend in technology. And we're talking about, hey, you might see NVIDIA, I wish I had invested before it. We're here in going to 1 million GPUs, right? We are at, for the most part, state of the art right now is tens of thousands, and we're going past 1 million. So this is an opportunity to be relatively early in a big trend. So what Coherent does, they're a really diversified company. They make fiber lasers, and they've got all kinds of different equipment sales, but 50% of their revenue, give or take, is from networking. And they sell transceivers, which is the part of networking that's going to receive and transmit data. And you're moving towards transceivers that can transmit and receive more data. And the big growth area is going to be 800 gigabit per second transceivers, which I've got the numbers right here. I'm going to look. We're going from hundreds of millions in revenue in 2021, around 2 billion last year. Next year, 8 billion. 2027 closing in on 12 billion. So we're talking something like 50x market growth within 6 years. And Coherent, they're pretty dominant in this space. There's a lot of players, but they have their own niche. So a few things about Coherent itself. They have a new CEO who, as I mentioned, they have a really broad product portfolio. The guy's really well kind of regarded in the semiconductor industry. He's had stints at AMD, Lattice Semiconductor, and he's basically trying to streamline the company along their growth opportunities. And third, what's coming next for kind of stocks? Well, interest rates are coming down. So you should have some stocks in your portfolio with some reasonable debt loads that are going to benefit from lower interest rates. And Coherent has a reasonable amount of debt that's going to benefit from this. When you see small caps going up, because a lot of these companies are going to benefit more from lower interest rates, well, Coherent fits that same profile. If I needed to give an analogous company to them, look up the stock chart for ON Semiconductor. It's a stock that got a new CEO who's talking a very similar plan and had a similar kind of market with EVs to what Coherent's looking at right now with communications. And between 2020 and 2023, I think the stock jumped something like 3, 4, 5x, just executing on basically a CEO with a plan and the right market. And I think that's the kind of upside that if they execute really well, you could be looking at for Coherent. So again, it's not a horribly risky company right now, but really attractive upside.